All right, everybody. Welcome back. This is Flatland Relics. Happy Labor Day. I've been gone for a while. I had to take care of some stuff. But I am definitely back today. And what I have in store for you is steering brackets onto the spindles and tie rod. So I did all the math to order those parts and then ordered them to, the house and laid them all out on the workbench and started redoing the math to make sure, because ordering the stuff from Speedway is very confusing. And then I realized my math didn't line up at all. So that kind of had me worried. And I was like, oh man, am I going to have to hacksaw this chrome tie rod down like a half an inch to get my eye to eye measurement correct? So I got a little worried about that. And what do you know? I go and set them in this video and everything works out somehow, even though I was like an inch off on my tie rod length. So all I'm going to say about that is when you're ordering stuff from Speedway and they start hitting you with all their math about this needs to be 3 inches longer and this needs to be that, I don't know. I just measured stuff off the car and then kind of went off what they said and it seemed to work out. So just a warning if you order stuff from there. Can we just take a moment to look at these bozos? All right, we're back. I took entirely too long to just go in the filing cabinet and grab the diagram for this caliper bracket. I haven't looked at this in over a year since I originally put the spindles on. And if you haven't built one of those, they don't really make much sense until you look at the drawing, because Speedway kind of just adds a bracket to whatever they can and then fits it in wherever they can. And then you got to make sure your caliper lines up. I had to figure out what side of the spindle the steering bracket needs to go on. And it has to go on the inside of the spindle towards the engine. and the bracket for the disc brakes goes on the outside of the spindle towards the tire. So that was something I was trying to decipher. Obviously, I was having a little bit of a time with it, but once I got the drawing out, everything sort of fell into place. Busted out the caliper so I could get a quality measurement on the inside diameter of these heim joints, because I had to go to the hardware store and get bolts. The steering brackets don't come with bolts, and the tie rod did not come with bolts. So just doing a little figuring to make sure I got that under control before I go spend money on some grade 8s. Never Sees may look like icing, but it absolutely does not taste like icing. So I'm about to finally get the bracket on the spindle. I do take some paper towels and blue tape and kind of wrap the bracket after I get it on, because it's chrome and I didn't want it smacking against the axle really hard. Just trying to take care of the chrome stuff, you know. Don't want to chip it up on day one. It did take a little bit of configuring to add all these brackets. You know, now I kind of feel like I understand why people just use drum brakes, because it all fits and it all makes sense. But I decided to do the upgrade and have the disc brakes, so I got to deal with trying to figure out how to add everything to it.
Don't stop. Run.
I'll shut the door here, that way everybody can see a little better. The sun was kind of cooking me anyway. Doesn't look like it, but it's like almost 90 degrees, and I'm drinking hot coffee in the middle of the afternoon, of course. So we'll do the passenger side bracket. You know, you got to pull the wheel. Got to get this so you can get to the spindle. And that bracket went on fairly easy compared to the other one. One thing you do want to keep in mind is, do you have cross steer or not? If you have cross steer, the bracket on the passenger side will have two holes, one for the tie rod and one for the drag link. So make sure you have the right brackets. My tie rod goes behind the axle, and then I have cross steer, so I'll have a drag link over to the pitman arm. That will be in a later video, though. All right, from here I'm putting stuff back together, which is always a good sign. We're going to put the tires back on both sides and then set the car back on the ground. And then I will adjust the tie rod and bolt that in. Oh, here's a quick peek of my new shop layout. I feel like it flows a little better. So one thing I don't have, and I'm not sure if I even need it, I'm going to have to do a little more research, is whether or not there's supposed to be a nylon grommet in between the bracket and the heim joint for the tie rod. So right now, I just bolted it in as a metal-to-metal connection, and what I'm doing here is just setting the one bolt with the heim joint threaded pretty far out, because I wasn't sure how many threads I was going to need on each side, and I know you want to kind of match that on each side so you're even. So I left a lot of it out, and then on this side, I kind of just took inventory if it seemed like it was too much or not, and then I went back. You'll see I go back and I shorten the other side when I realized that I had probably had too much thread out on both of them. And then I kind of made them both, I think, 5 threads showing out of the tie rod on each side, and then I just lock the jam nuts down. But yeah, I gotta do a little more research and see if that needs some kind of grommet, because the heim joint kind of just slaps around, like the tie rod moves like 10 or 15 degrees forward and back, and I'm not a big fan of that. And just like everything else you build for the first time, this took longer than I thought. The first side took forever. The second side went really quick, and then just putting the tie rod in literally only took about 3 or 4 minutes. Definitely a little bit of a learning experience. I like that, but I feel like I moved forward. I used to just have a piece of bar stock with some wire tie holding my spindles both square, and that didn't really work. So this will be a lot nicer to have this in place. And I'm going to try and get some parts for the, got to get a steering box and drag link and figure all that out. So that'll be coming up in videos soon. Yeah, so that's where we're at. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe if you haven't. Like, comment, share the videos. That's what keeps me alive on the algorithm. Yeah, have a safe Labor Day and enjoy.